Hi to all you survivors out there. It's me, Purpose Ann, back again. Today I'm talking about the prices of everything is increasing. I don't know if you guys have noticed it or not, but every time I go to the grocery store or to the gas station or pass by a gas station or just look at simple advertisements on the news or the television or even on the internet, I'm noticing how the prices of everything is increasing. Now, I know, granted, here during the Texas winter storm, we had a lot of price gouging throughout the city. People always take advantage of a situation, especially when it's in a time of crisis. And this is a very unfortunate situation. And this is another reason why it's extremely important to stay having everything that you need or that you possibly can afford to have before a crisis hit. Because once that crisis hit, and we're seeing nowadays that these crises are ongoing, whether it's weather related, whether it's political affiliated related, no matter what the situation is, it seems to be, or whether it's health affiliated with this virus, it's crisis after crisis after crisis. Because if you're not prepared, when these disaster strikes, it's going to cost you a lot and lot of money. Now, during the Texas winter storm, with food would have been with water and food, but I'm gonna talk about water first. Would there have been an extreme water drought? No one had water. That was a terrible situation. And even those who did have water, or when the water was accessible, the water was contaminated. So all throughout the city, if you could get, as you guys was on that journey with me, if you could get water, the water was very, very, very expensive. And if you couldn't afford the water, you had to go and stand in long lines or drive in long lines that would take hours for only you to get probably just one case of water. I remember my daughter and we was lucky to find a gas station. And like I said, my tank was really full. I only just had used like a fourth of the gas from the night before when the lights went out, and we went out searching for places that was well lit, because like I said, it was just her and I at the time, and I didn't want anyone to try to come in on us or anything like that. I'm not going to speak about the type of protection that I have, or this, that, and other. It doesn't matter. But anyway, I was there to fill up the rest of the tank because I know that it was shortages all throughout the city. And so while we were there, we noticed they had like cases and cases of water. And so we were grabbing the water, grabbing the water. And when we went to pay for the water, it was like $8 to $9 a pack. And we're talking about only like 12 packs, 12 bottles in one case. And so that was very, very, very disturbing. And then you're talking about food, the food that was available, the prices had immediately increased on the food, because of course, when things are weather related, the trucks cannot get into the cities, in and out of the cities, to bring in the supply of food and things like that to restock the shelves. So of course, quite naturally, the stores are going to up the prices of the things that they do have. And now they're saying, because they're blaming everything on this Texas winter storm, just like how they were blaming everything on the virus. Oh, we can't do this because of virus. Or if you go to a hotel, oh, we can't give you breakfast because of virus. It's just always something when it comes to these crises. So they're saying with the Texas winter storm, now they having to increase the prices on things because the gas prices have now increased. Okay, so explain why people utilities have increased, and that has nothing to do with us. What happened with the grid here in Texas? I'm talking about, I know you guys have heard about it on your national news. If not, because it's probably dying down now, because everybody talks about things when it first happened, but what they don't realize, especially in weather-related disasters, those things can go on for years, the effects of it. A lot of people still haven't had their homes remodeled or fixed up since Harvey. A lot of people are still suffering since Hurricane Harvey, which was in 2017. Then now we have the Texas winter storm. It's just craziness. So now you're seeing people with utility bills $4,000, $6,000, and we're wondering, how is it even legal for this to occur? They are trying to break us down. And now they're saying that because of the Texas winter storm and how it affected the crops, and now with the gas prices increasing, so the food prices have to increase. The gas prices have to increase. Oh my God, the gas is going up to like $3 a gallon. In a minute, people are not going to be able to drive those cars. And this is why this is another reason why I place so much emphasis on being in shape. It might come a time where we have to foot it like our ancestors did back in the day. You know those stories of our grandparents and our parents saying how they used to have to walk 5 and 10 miles to school, or like the New Yorkers do cycle. Well, the New Yorkers are not the only ones who cycle, but they do it quite oftenly. They use it as a major source of transportation. So these are forms of transportation we might have to use because they're making the prices so high on things you can't even afford to pay for it. So you're going to have to choose, okay, am I going to feed my family, or I'm going to put gas in the car to get to work so I can make money to either feed the family or to pay for gas or to pay for these utility bills. And now some of the landlords are increasing the rent. Because if you're in a place where it consists of all bills paid, that means that their light companies are tearing them up because of what occurred with that Texas winter storm. So they're going to take it out on their tenants, just like in New York. They are taxing all the residents, all the New Yorkers, because of what happened with the pandemic, because of the freaking politicians. Did nobody tell them to shut everything down? So they shut everything down. People lost their businesses. People were laid off and fired because of the businesses being shut down. And now the governor and probably de Blasio, the mayor, they want to tax the citizens of New York. They tried to pull that on Wall Street, and they said that they were going to move. They were going to move out of New York. So, you guys, I always like to take notes. So this is why it's important for us to prep, and it's important for us to go out if you can now, like right now, and get the things that you need. If you run out of toilet paper, you better go and get you some toilet paper. If you're running out of some non-perishables, your rice and your beans and the things that'll last long, I would suggest you go out and get these things, because it's seen day by day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. They are steadily increasing the prices on everything. And it is craziness. Even the prices of clothes. Anything that has to be brought into the cities, they're increasing the prices on it. Everything. And also now we're having severe problems here in Texas with illegals crossing the border. And then on top of that, the pandemic. And I'm noticing with these politicians, it's so unfortunate. You guys know I don't represent any political parties. I just don't. I really don't care for these politicians at all, because they go to feuding with one another, and then the citizens of whatever area where they're feuding, they have to pay for it. And I think that's what happened with us here in Texas. When this new administration came in, all of a sudden all hell broke loose, talking about dark winters and all that. So why we had to go through the dark winter. But what I'm speaking of now is the governor's coming out saying that he's asking the president and the federal government to do something about these illegals crossing the border. And he said he's not getting assistance with that. And I feel that he's probably not getting assistance with that because he's a Republican. The president and most of the House representatives now are Democrat. They probably have a problem with him being a Republican, and he was a Trump supporter, and he's a Trump supporter. So because they don't like that party and those people, now the citizens of Texas have to suffer. The same thing that was going on in New York. That's a Democratic state. And then at the time, there was a Republican president. And so they're feuding with one another. And then at the same time, the citizens have to suffer. And it's just terrible. It's just terrible. And I'm just not understanding a lot of these cities and states that's ran by Democrats why they are so crime infested. And then other people feel certain ways about the cities and states that are ran by Republicans. It's just, you know what, guys? I just think the best thing for us to do, because I said I'm not stressing myself out about these politicians no more and about these politics. The main thing that I'm concerned with is staying prepared for me and my family, staying on top of things, looking out to see what's going on with the weather. The weather is now a weapon. Don't let a weather-related incident sneak up on you wherever you are and not be prepared. Just like the video that I posted, the last video I posted about the situation in Maui, how that dam is being breached and all those people losing their homes, all of a sudden. And this is why I say I hate when people, especially a lot of so-called pro-preppers, they base prepping on just having things. Prepping is more than just having things. Those people who are losing all those things out there, the people who have lost and are losing things here in Texas, it just helps when you know how to survive. If you don't have any food, if you have to go out there in the woods, in the wilderness, if you know what edible plants you can eat and what edible plants you can't eat, how to purify some water, how to build you a small house, how to survive as far as that is concerned. If you don't have any preps, if you lost everything, or how about just being in shape and being able to walk and get to where you got to go or get from a disaster area if you don't have a car, if you don't have any forms of transportation that consist of vehicles and things like that, and we're going to those days and times. We better start living and preparing ourselves like our ancestors were back in the day. Growing our own foods and eating our own foods and not depending on this filth, garbage foods that they have at these grocery stores. Because at the end of the day, we're going to need every last dime, nickel, quarter, penny, dollar that we have. We really are. And it would behoove us to have some assets or to have some wise investments because the value of the dollar is decreasing. They're printing up so much money. So I just wanted to discuss that, and I would love for you guys to iterate. And there's so many of y'all that have so much wisdom, some way more than me. All of us have to learn and feed from one another. And in areas I'm weak, you guys may be strong. In areas I'm strong, you guys may be weak. So let's help one another. Let's discuss this in the comment section. In the comment section, have you guys noticed a drastic food increase in your area? I know here in Texas, it is crazy. And a lot of people migrated here to Texas from other places because of the fact everything was so economically feasible as far as the housing and food and transportation and the energy prices and gas and these are things of that nature. But now it's like Texas is like spiraling out of control. It's like all these different things are occurring here. So yeah, let's talk about it in the comment section. I want to make sure that I did not miss anything. I think I pretty much touched on everything. And I want to shout out Prepper Now. He shouted me out. He pinned my page on his channel. And I love Prepper Now. I love the In Telling It Like It Is. And also Full Spectrum Survival. Thank you guys so much for shouting my channel out. You guys did not have to do that. Little old me. And I do thank you. And I thank you also, Prepper Now, for the words of encouragement. It meant a lot, hearing those things from you at the time when I was feeling the way. So yeah, let's continue to encourage each other. You guys, let's stay strong. Let's stay informing each other. If you guys knowing of any events that I may not be aware of, or your prep community may not be aware of, let's talk to each other about it. Let's try to stay on top of things, because the only way I feel that we are going to make it these days and times are through one another. Pulling together, unifying, loving each other, supporting each other, because we can't depend on all these other people who don't believe and think the way that we do. We believe and think the way that we do for a reason, and I'm so grateful to have that type of intuition. All right, you guys, if you like the content, please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, keep surviving.